Good day, everyone. This is Patrick from EasyFX Code Trading System, and it is Saturday, the 8th of May, 2021. And this is the weekly technical analysis for the euro, the cable, and the Aussie dollar for the second week of May. And across all the major pairs, there was a big bounce towards the end of the week, especially on Friday. And overall, that was mainly due to the very poor non-farm payroll report from the US, with only a quarter of the jobs added out of the expected 1 million. And there was a drastic drop and fall for the US dollar. Perhaps in this case, let's start with the DXY. Show the impact for the major pairs later on. And after attempting to climb up above this previous support zone and now turn into resistance, was unable to break out higher above the daily 55 EMA here. And along with this previous support. And after a doji, a small spinning top, started to drift lower on Thursday, and then a massive fall on Friday, breaking below the 138 extension level and targeting this support zone now between the 90 and the 89, 84 area, where the 162 FIB extension is. So we'll see how bad the US dollar is going to fall this coming week, and if whether this level can hold. Otherwise, it's going to fall all the way to the bigger FIB, also at the 138 FIB extension. So this is definitely bad news indeed for the US dollar, and already on the back of the FOMC the previous week. So now with where it's now justified its stance of not reducing or tapering the QE. All right, let's go back to the other major pairs, and let's start off with the euro. And the euro, after hitting the intermediate resistance, just at the 10 SMA, dipped lower into the daily 55 EMA, and then bounced from there on Thursday, where it continued to rally on the Friday back into this 50 FIB retracement zone, which is on the multi-year swing from this level here. If I go to a monthly time frame, that's the multi-year swing, and it has come up to this 50 FIB area a couple of times before. Now it's trying again. All right, back to the daily time frame. So when I drew this interim resistance, happens now to align with last week's weekly pivot, which was only just calculated at the beginning of last week. So nice confluence here. So the next resistance, if it breaks through this 50 FIB area, is near the 78.6 fib retracement just above the 122 level. All right, so let's see if it's able to hold as resistance for next week. Otherwise, if it's a strong bullish week again, then it could continue to find momentum and break through and target the next round figure at 123. But for now, we'll place this as the next resistance zone. We can also identify this as change this to a support zone. All right, and definitely a strong support zone at the 120 area. So last week's weekly pivot was at 120.63. And the 50 fib retracement is at 121.67. All right. So this week there's a couple of news, but the major one will be the EU economic forecast. For the Eurozone, there's also the Eurozone ZEW and the German ZEW, especially on Tuesday, and then the minutes of the ECB monetary policy meeting a couple of weeks back. So that's due for release on Friday. All right. Let's move on to the cable, where the sterling had a rather volatile week with the Bank of England announcement on the Thursday, and that closed as a spinning top, almost a doji, and found support on the weekly pivot, last week's weekly pivot, and then continued to rally on Friday as with the other pairs into the significant round figure psychological level at 140, and which happens to align with the 21 fib retracement area. So if we take a look at the swing from this previous low in December last year to the high of this year, it has only retraced back into the 38, or rather the 50 fib zone, and then has tested a 21 fib previously, and then now is consolidating between the 38 and the 21 fib. So we'll see if this week there's enough bullish momentum to break out higher and continue to the next round figure, 141, before it attempts to get closer to the high of the year. But that's still a few weeks away. We'll have to contend with this 140 round figure level first. And this week there's only the prelim GDP figure. No other major news this week. All right. Let's move on to the Aussie dollar. Before do that, let me just elaborate a bit more on the BOE decision on the Thursday, where many analysts expected the central bank to start tapering, but they did not, and they disappointed there. So initially it did climb higher, but then pulled back and fell lower, but managed to find support at the weekly pivot. And then start drifting higher as the US dollar continued to weaken, and that's where it managed to rally on the Friday. So we look at the 4-hour time frame, and that's for the whole week, this part here. So you can see initially a strong bounce from the support zone, and then pull back and getting volatile for from Wednesday and then Thursday. While swings there, but managed to find support at the 4-hour 200. And then on Friday, continued volatility here. And finally managed to reach the 140 round figure. So yes, rather volatile week for the sterling pound. All right, let's go back to the Aussie dollar. And the RBA as well stayed pat and did not change anything for either interest rate or the monetary policy, and nothing much change on the Tuesday announcement. But as with the other major pairs, took advantage of the weaker US dollar and rallied higher. So all the central banks did not start any tapering, only the Bank of Canada. But the other major central banks did not make any changes. And I think we can shift this Fibonacci here now, because this is another swing low here. And let's change the retracement. Here. So with this swing move up, it managed to find support from the 38 Fib retracement and broke through the 62 Fib retracement area on the Friday. Broke through the 0.7800 area. Let's extend from here. That was the resistance zone. Now we'll see if that's going to hold as support. Let's change this to support zone. And this zone here, just below 0.7700, happens to be also close to the new monthly pivot. So that's going to be the next major support zone. So let's change that to support. All right, so the next resistance zone is going to be here at the 0.79 along with the 78.6 Fib retracement. And that is at 0.7905 area. All right, so on Friday, it rallied right up to the weekly R2 pivot level. That's at 0.7864. So we'll see if there's enough momentum to continue higher into this resistance zone. There's definitely support at 0.78. If not, then it could come from the 50-fib retracement area. All right, there's only some minor news early in the week with the retail sales figures, but then the annual budget will be announced and released on Tuesday. So that's the only major news for next week. And all this will depend on how the US dollar reacts, but as I've shown you, there's still a bit more downside on the US dollar. So there could be some more bullish momentum to start the week. All right. So anyway, do check out my other videos on spot gold and dollar yen and Ichimoku analysis as well. Have a safe week and have a good trading week, and cheers for now.